Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? How was your first weekend off for what, 19 weeks?
Let me tell you something. I felt good. Just being able to sit at home in my PJs and watch some good NFL football, man. It felt really good to be able to do that.
For those that don't realize, I mean, you travel to every home game and away game, right? And people know that you're there all the time, but like thinking about the commitment that is to you are on the road every week, and then we had our bye week, but we were doing the trip in Spain for the bye week. So I doubt you were home, or were you back by the bye week?
Yeah, for the bye week, actually, I needed to rejuvenate, so I went down to South Carolina to go hunting, and that helped me just, bring back a little bit of normalcy, if you will, because like you said, it's a grind, but
Yeah.
it's something that I love to do, and it's something that I will continue to do for a little while until my body says, all right, enough's enough. But right now, I've got a little bit more in me.
Well, I'm glad and happy to hear that you still got some more in you. So for me, it was nice to not have to worry about what am I making this week, how many people are going to show up, how much help do I have out there. We are actively recruiting for the tailgate crew. I've got some people in the crew that are not renewing season tickets for different reasons. So I could definitely use some help out there. So those of you that are listening, hit your boy up, let me know. But I enjoyed it, man. I didn't think I was going to watch a ton of football this weekend just because it was a little salty. But obviously, like this time last year, we were in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I remember the rally in Tampa, just being out there, hanging out, partying with everybody, trying to, find a place that I could get my two waffles from, and a Waffle House wouldn't sell me two waffles just as one order, so I had to put in multiple waffle orders. It was just, it was just such
Wait.
fun
So
run.
you mean to tell me that you can't order two waffles a la carte?
They made me get two like meals for the waffles from there.
What?
So yeah, it was a lot of food, but your boy didn't want to jinx it because I've been eating. Those that don't
Gotcha.
remember, Jayden had his whole Bisquick waffle campaign, so he eats two waffles before every game for good luck. So
Yeah.
I started eating two waffles before every game for good luck. And I just remember being out there and trying to find a place in Tampa when we were out there that sold them. Waffle House was down the street. So ended up
Yeah.
walking, a couple blocks of the Waffle House hanging out. Actually, I think Doug Williams was there eating waffles one day. People
Yeah.
ran into
Yeah.
him.
Right by
So
my,
it's just,
right by my hotel. Yeah.
yeah, I was kind of reminiscent about this time last year and how much fun we had. And now it's like, damn, we're just sitting on the couch and just watching everybody have a blast. And I do appreciate the Niners fans that reached out to me that after they beat the Eagles, some random Niners fan, don't know who the hell they are, just said this one was for you, Tailgate Ted. And that's like definitely appreciated that. Followed them immediately and thank them for it because it was kind of hilarious because once again, we're not playing, right?
Yeah.
And just sitting here and all of a sudden my name's getting tagged in this because I guess some fans from San Fran tried to go to a bar in Philly and the
Mhm.
bar replied back in an email saying, with very little thought, we're deciding not to host your party here. All right. And it just kind of cracks me up that, everyone's just kind of still thinking about that whole spot. But it was nice to watch the games, man. And then all the teams that I wanted to win for the most
Karma.
part won this weekend.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Uh, Karma is what I'll say.
Oh, yeah.
You can't continue doing it to people and expect good things. You know, you just can't. So, but that city will always be that type of city, and there's nothing that anyone can say or do to change it. And so, on one aspect, my hat goes off to them because of their deep rooted fandom. It does because I would like for us to take over our stadium, not with the attitude or the nonsense, but just the true flair that they have for their football, their sports teams, if you will. So on one aspect, my hat goes off to you, but on the other aspect, that other stuff can kick rocks, man. And so, yeah, it couldn't have happened to a better team. I'll say that.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to win that game, right? I ended up putting down money. I didn't bet on a single team to win. I put down a couple parlays. Like I put down for Christian McCaffrey to get 2 touchdowns. That hit. Definitely close. Had to be a freaking wide receiver reverse pass to McCaffrey to get me that second touchdown. But I didn't think the Niners were going to win that game. Right. I just thought that it wasn't going to happen because Trent Williams was going to be out. They had all these guys go out. They lost Kittle in the middle of that game. Dude orders a bottle of Patron from the owner's box and gets it delivered and finishes it off in the locker room because he's in so much pain from what I think was tearing his Achilles.
ACL, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was his Achilles. And then Mitch Tischler put this tweet out after the game. And those that don't know, Mitch does the Monumental Sports stuff and the Beltway Football Pod. He put, maybe Sirianni should have let Jake Elliott practice those PATs instead of trying to embarrass the Commanders with a gutless 2-point try versus a third-string quarterback. All right. And that's in response to their kicker missing that extra point, which would have only let them down by, 3 instead of 4, and them having to go for the TD. And, I mean, I don't know. I listen to Philly radio after they lose because it cracks me up. So that next Monday, WIP, I mean, if I'm AJ Brown, I am hiring security for every one of my family members. I am putting up and making sure all the cameras around my house have batteries, that they're fully charged, that the solar panels are working, because the amount of hate for him flowing through that town right now is insane.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, he's somebody else who all year long, give me the ball, I'm open. You see the commercials, I'm open. And then at his biggest moment, he wet the bed.
Yeah.
I mean, so will he be around next year, or shall I say later this year? Probably not. But hey, you know, it's something else, bro. It really is, and but I'm not mad at it because they took that L. And once again, I wouldn't be so upset, or not. I wouldn't be so giddy the way I am. But they talk cash trash to us at the stadium a couple weeks ago. They just did, and so you get what you get, guys. And that's the last I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, I hope for our sake that they get rid of AJ because the guy's terrorized us. I love to not have to face him. I mean, he is a matchup nightmare for anybody when he can catch the ball. For some reason against us, he likes to catch the ball. Against other teams, he doesn't, which is fine by me. But yeah, all that trash they've been talking. I guess we're going to Cancun together. All right.
That's right.
Because, I don't know who's going to win this thing in the end. I thought the Rams were going to just demolish the Panthers, and they had a couple problems there. Didn't bother covering that spread, which was 10. I mean, from an AFC perspective, I want to see the Bills do it, but man, I feel like Josh Allen's doing it with just duct tape and bubble gum and a bunch of no-name people he's throwing that ball to. And you see the tush push where they picked him up and he ran 10 yards.
And almost scored.
Well, he ran maybe 3, and his lineman picked him up like the other 9 yards.
See, I didn't think you could do that, but but hey, obviously they bend the rules for who they want to bend the rules for.
Yeah, but it was a fun weekend of football, right? Just getting to watch it. There really weren't any crazy blowouts. I mean, I refused to watch the Steelers game last night. I just didn't think it was going to be a fun, exciting game. It was 7-6 going into the fourth quarter, and then woke up this morning. And, they scored 30 points, I guess, because Rodgers threw a pick 6 and some other stuff. But I'm excited about the matchups this weekend. I am still bummed that we're not going to be in there because I do feel that we could compete with some of the teams that are in there right now, right? Given a healthy team, but we weren't healthy this year. And it was what it was. And the last time we talked, DQ and Peters had not had their postseason press conference yet. Well, they had it, and it was 35 minutes, and they basically said absolutely nothing during that press conference. Did you listen to the thing?
No, I didn't. I was working, bro, so I missed all that stuff. I missed a lot of this stuff. But the thing is this, what did you expect them to say? I
I
mean,
expected some humility, right? Some like, okay, we should have did this instead of this, right? Because there's things. I mean, Noah Brown was your number 2 wide receiver. To have that guy be your number 2 wide receiver on your depth chart is a huge whiff, right? It was just a big fat swing and a miss by Peters. Like understanding that, like you've got Olamide Zaccheaus, OZ, playing for the Bears right now and contributing. Right. And I don't know how much OZ got paid compared to Noah Brown got paid. I can easily look it up, but it's not really that big a deal. But the fact of the matter is, you put the depth and the talent down so little. And he was asked, is there a long term plan to keep Jayden healthy? This is actually what Peters had to say about that long term plan.
Adam, is there a way to come up with kind of a long term plan to keep Jayden upright and make sure he plays 15 or 17 games rather than 7?
Is there a way? I think really, I think, and this might be a better question for DQ, but from me, I think is just continuing to, like, from my, from a personnel or GM perspective, is continuing to put good players around him. Whether that's in front of him at the O line, it's running backs to control the ball and control the clock and not put it all on his shoulders and get in second and third and manageables. It's receivers that he can trust and throw to so that he's not holding on to the ball longer. And so from my perspective, it's just getting good players around him, getting a good defense on the other side so he's not it's not all on his shoulders to win the game. So DQ can probably talk more schematically, but in terms of from me, I think those are the things that I can and need to do to help him out.
And putting better players, more players around him so he doesn't basically turn into Superman. Right. And I'm looking at the stats. I mean, this is just an example of someone that was here, someone that was, still here. OZ's making $1.5 million for the Bears on a 1-year deal. So he's an unrestricted free agent this year. Noah Brown making $3.2 million, right, this season. And he's an unrestricted free agent. So, I mean, hindsight's 2020, but OZ played 16 games. Noah didn't even come close, right?
I think the reason that is because they wanted to go taller. I think that's the reason in a nutshell. They wanted a taller receiver.
Yeah.
And they, let's face it, he had his 15 minutes of fame against the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, against the Bears.
It's the Bears. Against the Bears.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Against the Bears. He had his 15 minutes of fame against the Bears. So I understand. And because we did need a taller receiver. We just didn't have it. And I'm sure that we will be deeping or seeping back into the pool to get another tall receiver, if you will. So a healthy tall receiver. So I can understand that, but and I'm sure OZ didn't want that much more, but that's the way the ball bounces, bro. You know the saying, we can't cry with spilled milk. Here we are. We gotta do what we gotta do, and I gotta tell everybody, we got a short time to get this thing done to be where we need to be. It really is not a long time at all.
Yeah. No, I mean they do. It's just 33 free agents, right? And when we had talked prior, Kliff Kingsbury was still with the team.
Yeah.
We did bring up the fact that there were some rumblings from Diana Rossini about the report that Kingsbury and Peters were having issues. And then next thing you know, the very next day, Kingsbury and the team decided to mutually part ways. Right. And to me, saying we're mutually parting ways, I guess is a way of saying, I guess letting the guy save a little bit of face. And maybe they just didn't want to embarrass him. And they wanted to say, hey, okay, we're not going to say we fired you or whatever else. We're going to mutually part ways. Coaching contracts are guaranteed no matter what. So none of that part really matters. But what did you think when you heard that news come out?
I kind of twofold. One, I was, if this makes sense, I was surprised, but then the last pod that we did, we talked about it, and his play calling was questionable. So I really wasn't surprised, and I know that's riding the fence, but we thought that there was a possibility of him coming back because of, hey, there's consistency with him and Jay, and Jay will be healthy, and with a healthy offense, we saw what he could do. But then, like we said, you're like, wait a minute, man, you actually did that play 3 times, and you didn't hit pay dirt, and just so many other things that was just kind of off the wall. And so I can see how they said no go. So
Yeah.
now here we are with a vacancy. Well, we had a vacancy. And so I was really saying to myself, all right, we got to make this up sooner than later. And so, um, whatever decision that they decide to do, I'm going to ride with it, because that's what you do when it's your team, whether you agree with it or not. You gotta ride with it and ride that wave. And so, the tide is out, and we're all looking back at that wave on our surfboard, ready to get on top of it and ride it. So let's get it. What do you think?
So I was kind of surprised. Jordan Schultz came out with a report, said sources, part of the issue the Commanders have had in the building is the front office meddling with the coaching staff on personnel and which players to use. An ongoing problem dating back to 2024 when they were having success. With the team struggling this year, it reached new heights and there was notable disagreements. Moreover, I have not gotten the impression Dan Quinn wanted to move on from his coordinators. The entire disconnect is one to watch as we head into 2026. There's a lot of S going on there, a source said. So I was kind of surprised that that story came out after Kingsbury decided to mutually part ways. Basically saying that someone in the front office is just meddling with the coaching staff. To me, that means Peters, right? Peters wants this guy to play versus that guy to play, or trying to tell someone to not call these plays anymore. And honestly, I was fine with Kingsbury going. Right? I got tired of his play calling, and I have not been shy about it. I got tired of just some of the asinine things he had done, and no one else in the NFL runs the Kingsbury style offense, the air raid offense. It's run in college, but in the NFL, it is not adopted by any other team out there. So to me, that's a little bit of like, why? If it's that good of an offense, why is no one running it? So people might have heard the Kliff, like the Kingsbury Kliff, like he gets off to a good pace. Like in Arizona, he started doing well. Here, first year, started doing well. But then once defenses get Tate, things don't go well, right? And I feel that this year, we hit that cliff. Kingsbury wasn't able to, some people call it self-scout, wasn't able to adjust at halftime, wasn't able to change anything he wanted to do based upon what defenses were doing to him. And I also feel that in his offense, it relies way too much on the quarterback being able to improvise, on the quarterback being able to use his legs and do other things. And if Jayden really is the future, we need to run a different offense that's going to make sure the kid stays healthy and keeps that in mind, because we've all said he's got the brains and he's got the arm. You don't have to use his legs all the time.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I mean, he has an arm, and one thing that we know he can do is he can read defenses. Whereas a lot of times in the past, our QBs couldn't read the defense, but he's a smart kid. We know that the VR goggles have put him in a position to be able to shine above other QBs. And as you said, a last resort, if he needs to, he can bust that speed out and get out of trouble. You don't always want that to be the number one thing that he is able to do. So, hey, Kliff, good luck to you, brother. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. He interviewed for the Ravens job just the other day. And I mean, it's more power to him. There was a commercial on 106.7 The Fan that it's a local commercial. 106.7 is a local station here in the DC area, WJFK. And it's Kliff basically talking about getting mani-pedis at some local shop. And it's the only chance he gets a time to turn his brain off when he's here because they give you a pair of noise canceling headphones and he stops thinking about football and all this other stuff. So I thought it was like a Saturday Night Live skit, but no, it's legit like a commercial for kind of a spot like the I can't think of the name. There's like a gentleman's barbershop that they have in Tyson's Corner and some other spots. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, I'm pissed off if I'm that company that paid him who knows how much money to be their advocate, and the guy's gone now.
Should have been in his contract. You get fired, we don't pay you anything.
I mean, they're going to be running the hell out of that ad for a while. But
yeah,
developing.
Well, actually, for that niche though, even though he's gone, for that niche, I'm sure that they'll make some money off of it because of who he is. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Right, and just the fact that hey, he had some success here, and then you obviously had people from other. I'm not trying to whenever I put something out, people just want to reply back. Like they're not fans of the Commanders. They don't follow me. I don't understand why. But oh well, what was wrong with his offense last year? Right? It was good enough for you guys then. Like you guys don't understand. You don't pay attention to the stats. This is something that Kingsbury does, where he just does not adjust. I mean, I remember early on last year when Terry wasn't doing anything, people were talking about how Kingsbury doesn't put his guys in motion. Terry lined up on the one side of the field constantly, and they never moved him around. Everyone bitched and complained about it, and it wouldn't surprise me if Peters was meddling and saying, why don't you move him around and do this and do that? And that's part of them complaining about last year. And next thing you know, Terry starts having a career year, one of the best years ever, and then signed that offseason deal because he got 13 touchdowns for the team. But early on, right, he's just kind of stubborn. And rumor is Kingsbury went into DQ's office that next morning. They had some discussions potentially about changing things in his offense. And he said, no, this is my offense. This is what I run. And they decided to mutually agree to part ways. But what got a lot of fans excited, and I have never seen so many of the burgundy and gold kind of most of the point unanimous about this. Mike McDaniel, the coach for the Dolphins, got fired. And those that don't know, Mike McDaniel, I mean, I don't know how you don't know, but McDaniel and Dan Quinn have a long history together. Every time we play the Dolphins, it always comes up. Mike McDaniel had a problem with alcohol. Dan Quinn helped him get sober. And he credits Dan Quinn to basically helping save his life. So I'm thinking, oh, here we go. We can bring Mike McDaniel here. He's got an exciting offense, right? The problems that Tua had were Tua just couldn't stay healthy. He was taking some other hits and some other stuff going on there. But his offense is, I remember freaking Tyreek just destroying us and watching them on the Hard Knocks that one year. I'm fine with that dude being our OC. So I was thinking, all right, bring him here. I mean, what were your thoughts when that came out?
Everyone was saying that, and I'm more of a guy that's just going to sit back and wait before I try to say yay or nay. And
let the chips fall.
Yeah, just where they may. And when it didn't happen, surprised me, because it kind of was like, well, so a couple years back when we were saying who do we want as far as the head coach was concerned, and everybody wanted the cat out of Chicago, and I was one of the ones. Ben Johnson. Everybody wanted Ben Johnson, and I wanted Ben Johnson because of what I thought. And then once DQ came in and uprooted everybody and changed the culture here, I was all over his jock. So I said, no, not gonna do that anymore. I'm not gonna do that. Just let the chips fall. And Ted, once again, brother, I needed to decompress. So whatever they decided to do, I'm going to be fine with it. I was going to be fine with it. So, because once again, they have much more knowledge than me, but I did listen to the radio station. And as you said, 1067 The Junks, they put it out there and, they basically had a 99.9% rate of everybody who wanted him. So, but he's not here. So that says something about maybe why he isn't.
So, and this is all rumor and speculation. Mike McDaniel just got fired by the Dolphins. People are thinking it's because Harbaugh, who got fired by the Ravens, is going to basically get that job down to Miami. Because when Harbaugh got let go, they said 7 teams had an interest in John Harbaugh, but there were only 6 openings. So someone was still going to get fired that hadn't been fired yet. Turns out it was Miami with McDaniel. So the Cleveland Browns, the Atlanta Falcons, the Titans, and the Ravens are all trying to interview McDaniel for their head coaching job. So Blough, who's here, right? Blough took over for Tavita Pritchard. Pritchard left in the middle of the season to be the Stanford head coach.
Right? Yeah.
Blough got moved up. Blough was getting coaching interview requests for offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Blough used to be a quarterback for the Lions back in the day. The Lions need some help, so they wanted to bring him in. The Commanders, seeing this, and also not knowing, because McDaniels was going to do the head coaching interviews before he was going to do an offensive coordinator interview. So you risk McDaniels taking a head coaching job, and then Blough, who you have in-house, taking the job of the Lions, and you being left with absolutely nothing. So the team decided to interview a bunch of internal staff, and when they interviewed that staff, they gave the position to David Blough. And honestly, I'm fine with it, right? And it just, I was trying to find before the podcast my shirt, Peters Quinn 24. It's kind of a play on, Peters Quinn 2024, like politically from last year I got from Breaking Tea. Couldn't find it. Wife probably got rid of it because it was a shirt from last year. But to me, Peters Quinn 25, Peters Quinn 26, right? I still trust those guys to making the right decision. And reports came out that Jayden Daniels was upset and surprised that Kingsbury wasn't with the team anymore, which I call BS on that. I don't think there's any way the team decided to make that decision on Kliff without talking to Jayden, right? Some of the players, no, man, not your franchise quarterback, and not the relationship that Kliff and Jayden had. I don't think they consulted him on should they keep him or not. I do think they told him before he found out from social media.
Reporting ways with Kliff. Okay.
You had some guys that said they found out on Twitter, they found out on Instagram, they found out on a text chain with the rest of the other, players that were on there just kind of shooting the ass, like, oh, hey, by the way, Kliff's gone, type of thing. But there is no way that Jayden found out by reading a report by, Adam Schefter.
Okay.
At least in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, I think that a lot of times, we look back at the whole, and no, I'm not comparing the two. So I don't want to say people say you compared RG3 to, I'm looking at the situation. If you think about, RG's parents going into saying, hey, I want my son to run this type of offense, and RG saying that, I think that I don't see them saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. I don't see it. I mean, I could be wrong, but ultimately, yes, you are my franchise quarterback, but this is who you got, and you'll be okay with it. Like anything else in life, either you will or you won't. And so now this guy, he's been with us, of him. So I don't think that that it's a bad thing, because he's worked with him for the last 2 years.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. The team interviewed 5 candidates for the OC vacancy. It was Cowboys tight end coach Lunda Wells, Cardinals wide receiver coach and pass game coordinator Drew Terrell, our tight end coach David Blough, Commanders pass game coordinator and assistant head coach Brian Johnson, and Commanders assistant quarterback coach David Blough. Blough got the job, right? And there are press clippings, videos from a year or two ago of basically Blough getting praised by Kliff, Blough getting praised by DQ and others out there. And he has got a tight relationship with Jayden. It's come out prior to this that every Friday morning in the bubble, he and Jayden play horse, basically in regards to football. Those that don't know, horse is a game that, you play in basketball where somebody makes a shot and you try and make that exact same shot. And they do the same thing in the practice bubble in regards to, throwing the ball. Blough played, and this is kind of crazy, he played just a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, wasn't long.
No, wasn't long ago at all. So he went undrafted but signed with the Browns in 2019. Spent most of his career with the Lions from 2019 and 21, and then he went back again in 23. He also played for the Vikings and the Cardinals. So he's got 7 starts, finished with 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. So, I mean, he and Jayden aren't too far off, timeline-wise, right? So he can relate to the kid. And I think there was a Hard Knocks clip where Jayden was in the bubble throwing the ball, and Blough was there, and you could see him in the background. I might be mistaken, but I'm almost positive he was there. So I am excited because he already has a rapport and a relationship with Jayden that he can build on. He's coming from the Ben Johnson and the Kevin O'Connell tree. So he was with Johnson and O'Connell in past lives. And he knows what he wants to do, or else I don't think DQ would have given him the job, because this is a resume generating event for DQ, right? If he gets this wrong,
Definitely.
he's gone. He can't afford to get this wrong.
I agree with you on that. I was going to say, you spoke about that whole tree, if you will. How many coaches were on this tree of Redskins, Commanders? I mean, we've got a lot, and they've had success. So what you don't want to do is go back to saying another one got away and he potentially goes wherever and he's successful. And you guys are saying, what are you doing? You had him in your house. We don't want that anymore. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. And I'm happy about it. I'm fine with it because I feel that I remember back in the day, I was trying to get a job and they said, you don't have experience. You don't have experience. Well, how else are you going to get experience unless you get a job? Right. So it's a double-edged sword. Like, the guy obviously does not have experience calling plays, but how else is he going to get it? And okay, sometimes it sucks that he's going to be getting experience on your watch and it might be a little bit rough, but he's already in-house. He's able to devise this offense with Jayden there and knowing the assets and the weapons he has. And if Peters is true to his word, he's going to get other weapons for Jayden to be able to use and Blough to be able to use. So Jayden doesn't have to be Superman and do it all on his own and basically do what Josh Allen did and just try and take that game over single-handedly, because Jayden ain't built like Josh Allen.
And we don't want him to. I mean, if he has to, obviously, if it's playoffs like Heineke did when we were playing Tampa Bay and he dove for the pylon, which I have a picture of that, we understand that. But every game, you can't put your body through that, and we don't want him to. So, Blough, brother, I know that you are at the office dialing up stuff as we speak, putting things together. So this is going to be OJT. And for those who don't know what OJT is, on the job training. I mean, literally, you're ready to rock and roll. So, hey man, put those concepts together and let's see where it takes it. And I'm hoping that it takes us far.
I also feel that fans somewhat forget that Kingsbury was on the list to get a job last offseason, right? And I remember him coming here. People were always saying, oh, you're going to bring in Kingsbury and he's going to leave in a year or two. Well, I think this offseason, Kingsbury was gone one way or the other. He was gone because we did so well, he was going to get a head coaching job someplace else. Or, unfortunately, what happened, we didn't do well, and Kingsbury's gone because we didn't do well. So I did not see him on our coaching staff for the 26-27 season regardless. And people are freaking out that, oh my gosh, he's gone now. What are we going to do? Right? He was going to leave. And he was forced out, neutrally left, however you want to call it. Fact of the matter is, dude ain't here anymore. But guess who still is? Jayden. Right? And I've got no doubt that the young man, if he can stay upright and be healthy, will do what he needs to do to learn this system that he's going to have a hand in.
I look forward to it. And the only thing that I ask right now is patience.
Yeah.
A little patience. Just a little patience, folks. You know, and let us. There's going to be some bumps in the road. Let those bumps even themselves out, and hopefully we can get past it. But just don't kill a kid right off the break.
Yeah, I do want to see, and they're not going to show it during preseason, right? We're not going to see any bit of the offense in preseason and training camp. I do want to see some other stuff because people are going to say, well, Kliff ran the ball. Like if you look at the stats, okay, yes, we did run the ball, I think fifth most in the NFL. But unfortunately, if you look at that, 19th in regards to running back carries, not in regards to actual carries by an RB, that's throwing in QB carries as well. So it's just a lot of stuff going back and forth there. Joe Witt being let go, we all knew that was going to happen, right? The
Oh,
writing
yeah.
was on the wall there. Guy got demoted from play calling duties in the middle of the season, and they just let him live out the rest of the year. So it is what it is. But for you, which side of the ball can they afford to not get wrong? Which side of the ball, right? 2 years in a DQ, both your offensive and your defensive coordinator are gone. Which one do they have to get right?
Defense. They have to get defense right. And I say that because I'm looking at Houston Texans, and Stroud did not look very good. He did just enough, if you will, but the defense is what pulled that team through. So if you can get some dogs who can get to the quarterback, get him off his mark, some cornerbacks, just overall a good defense. We have JD, and JD can make a mediocre offense look that much better. So I say defense, bro, because as you know, teams just ran through us, man.
Yeah.
We did a little bit better, but once again, it goes back to the Rivera era. If it was 3rd and 12, they get 13, and we can't have that. And this year, it happened a lot. They ran the ball through a lot. So I don't know who's got to stay, but that defense has got to change because we were terrible. What say you?
I'm going to agree with you on defense, right? Jayden can buy you some time as a kind of a rookie offensive play caller to start finding your groove and finding your rhythm because he can mask deficiencies and inequities. And we saw him do that before. And we talked about not wanting him to be Superman, but he can still, right, just his God given talent, defenses have to respect. Our defense right now, I'll never forget 87 plays against the Cowboys. Right? That's just so painful to watch. And I'm trying to find the clip. I can't find it now. I'm sure you probably saw it on Instagram. It's some podcast where this guy calls in talking about how, an offense going against the Commanders should commit a penalty because basically like 2nd and 20 is a guaranteed first down. Right? Whenever a team had 2nd and long against us, right, it was a guaranteed like 30, 40-yard play for whatever reason. And the guy he sounds really calm and he's just hanging out. And then he just blows up out of nowhere because he's just so frustrated and angry with our defense because something where they're behind in the sticks and they should not get a chance to get it, our defense would just give it up. And I don't know if it's the philosophy, if it's a mixture of the people we have. Frankie Louvu came out after the season and said he didn't really enjoy where he was playing position-wise, and I get it, right? He got asked to be a defensive end when he's a linebacker, right? He got moved down there to put his hand in the dirt because we lost 4 defensive ends this season. So they needed someone else to do it.
You said we lost 4 defensive ends, bro. 4. Yeah. Normally, okay, you may lose 1, maybe 2 at the most, but 4? That's just so hard for a team to be able to come back from that. And it showed. It showed.
Yeah, it was insane, right? And so you've got guys playing out of position. I think that's partly what happened to the defense, but also the defensive scheme, the defensive philosophy. And I don't know who they're bringing in here. They talked about today interviewing Brian Flores or asking to interview Brian Flores. Those that don't recognize the name, he is the guy that kicked our ass against the Vikings, that blitzed the hell out of Jayden when we finally had our offense 100%. And we got shut out for the first time since, the 19th season against the 49ers. So it's been a while. Like you, I'm waiting to see where the chips fall on the defensive side. All I know is 33 free agents. We got some holes we got to fill. There's a lot of work they got to do, but we know they need this coaching staff in place before they go to the Senior Bowl to go scout, before they go to the combine and all these other places, because you got to figure out who you're going to pick, who you're going to take. And even though we don't have that many draft picks, you just got to make your determination on how you're going to build this scheme and how you're going to build this team and what's going to go on down the road. And I wasn't expecting this many questions after being just 60 minutes from the Super Bowl. And that's kind of what has me worried the most about this offseason. But they did it before, right? They took care of all these questions last time. And I do have faith they're going to be able to do it again.
One thing that, as I said earlier, I would have patience either. We're going to need patience. I do not believe they're going to be able to turn on overnight. I don't see it happening. I feel as though, this will be for a later show, but I feel as though we're going to have a difficult time. Unless that glue just sticks and that this new DC who comes in has a philosophy an easy philosophy, basically see ball, get ball type of thing. You know what I mean? Versus we always hear, or we always heard that the scheme is just too difficult and the guys got to think versus play. So, and I don't know how you fix that, but make it easier for them just to go out and hunt. And so one thing that you can do is that if you're having a difficult time trying to understand the playbook, so the DC is going to know what he's up against, and so looking forward to it. And I honestly wish that. Well, no, I don't. Let me slow down. I wish the season would start sooner, but I need this break. I need this break. The squad is going to need this break to be able to regroup as well. So I'm going to slow down and enjoy this offseason, if you will.
You and me both, man. You and me both. I'm going to enjoy watching these playoff games, knowing that the Eagles aren't in it anymore, knowing that the rest of the NFC East is sitting on the couch with us. So I'm don't know who I'm pulling for. Probably the Bills. I'd say they're probably my 1 seed right now because I would like to see Josh Allen try and get one without having a Mahomes in there, without having a Burrow in there and some other stuff. But we'll see, right? Are the Patriots for real? Is Drake May really it?
Yeah, that's another one. But the Patriots look good now.
The defense, defense looks really good for the Pats.
Yeah. And so once again, once Tom Brady left, you had Gibson go to them. They really weren't a good-looking team, but then they drafted really well. They had great free agents. And now the QB is coming to fruition. So we know that it can be done, but it's gonna take a little bit. So and it goes back. So it's so weird because we said on one previous pod or a couple pods back, I kind of wish we didn't have success as fast as we did. People blame me for saying that, but I think they took it out of context. Of course, we want the team to do well, but you want to have that success and sustain it.
Yeah.
You don't want to just have it 1 year and it goes away. And so we need sustainability is what we need. And so I'm willing to start off slow and see the building process so that we can be there for the long haul and not just have, be one and done.
Yeah, the sugar high, I'm not down for that, right? It's nice that we had that rush but we want that sustained. And it's going to take some time to truly do that and truly build that. And Peter said when he came here, he was going to build through the draft and augment or supplement through free agency. That game plan changed once he realized the quarterback he had and the talent they have with Jayden. So sometimes you got to call an audible, and they're calling an audible right now. Sometimes that audible gets stuffed, and this year it got stuffed, right? Next year with that audible, we'll see how it goes. But like you, I am enjoying the break. I'm looking forward to, just hanging out, watching some football instead of being out there going crazy. I'm not going to lie, right? I am going to think about this weekend when we were in Detroit last year and hanging out at Mama's Spaghetti with you and everybody else and just having a blast. And I kind of wish I could turn off my Facebook like, this time last year was going on posts, like, little throwback Thursdays that pop up or whatever else. But
oh yeah,
regardless, man, I am looking forward to seeing the pieces fall in this coaching puzzle that they're trying to put together right now.
Rapid fire before we leave. Mariota, does he stay or leave?
Nah, Mariota's gone. I can't see him sticking around here.
There you have it. Hey, I love to leave it just like that, brother. And I hear the music playing in the background, which you know that means. Another episode. That's all. So, thank you guys for riding with us. If you haven't done so, subscribe to us. Really appreciate it. Like, love, share. Goes a long way. Thank you guys for listening once again. Hey, as always, that's it harder. You don't have it all. Rally Captain, Tailgate Ted. See you next week.